Welcome to another episode of Judge for Yourself. We continue with our special election debates, and as we indicated, the real question is these debates viewed within the context of our constitutional promises. This week, we interrogate the topic of safety and security. How does each party plan to reduce crime, improve conviction rates, change the culture of brutality which seems to, at least by reports, have permeated through the police force? The Constitution does promise bodily and psychological integrity for all, but it does more than that. It promotes the ideas of dignity and freedom and equality for all, the idea that everybody in this country, no matter where they live, should live in peace, tranquility, and without fear of crime. When we've debated this issue, please join the debate on Twitter using the hashtag JFYCrime. In the studio to discuss this, we're joined in Cape Town by Annalize van Wyk, ANC MP and chairperson of the Police Portfolio Committee, Farouk Cassim from COPE, and in Durban we are linked to Dianne Kohler-Barnard, the DA MP and spokesperson on policing matters for the opposition. Before I begin the debate, let's just have a look at the crime stats since 2009. Reports of murder, sexual offences and assault and aggravated robbery have all decreased over the years according to this particular table. Now the question which I suppose I want to ask you is, in the light of this, I mean, what is going on and what policies do you have? It appears to me that if we look at the murder rate, 16,259 compared to 16,834, sexual offences down from 68,332 to 66,387 in 2013, assault, GBH, down from 2005,293 to 185,893, aggravated robbery from 113,755 to 105,888 in the period 2009 to 2013. So I'm interested in hearing from all three of you what it is that your parties are going to do to deal with these particular figures, whether the government feels it's on the right track and why the opposition parties don't. So I'm going to give each party, if I may, starting with you, Annalize, just 90 seconds maximum, just to tell us what is in your manifesto, how do you respond to these statistics, to the background and what you're going to do.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. First of all, I think it's very important what you've said is that there's been a continuous downward trend on these crimes. It's not just the last 2 or 3 years, it's been for the past 20 years we've seen a continuous downward trend, which shows the government is doing the right thing. We still believe that the crime rates are too high and we want to accelerate further the downward trend of these crimes. And there are a couple of issues where we want to concentrate on. The first is that we want to make sure that there are bigger community involvement in the fight against crime. That includes the establishment of street committees, community safety forums, and then also make part of our strategy anti-crime campaigns that can run. The second one is that we want to improve the visibility of policing, and specifically when we talk about contact crimes, deploy people where the crimes are being committed, so that there is a visibility there, that we deploy our resources accordingly, and that we can see that it makes a difference in how it's dealt with. In terms of domestic violence and crimes against women and children, which have been a priority crime for this government for the past 20 years, we believe that, again, you need to have an approach where community is involved, where we have intergovernmental sector involvement as well in order to address these crimes. We cannot divorce the social issues from the crime issues that we do have. We also want to improve border security. We want to improve and speed up the integration of the criminal justice system. We've all been talking about that. We now want to see more prosecutions, successful prosecutions, a quicker time to the courts from time that it's reported till it gets to the courts, and a quicker turnaround within our courts as well.
Time up for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Strict timekeeper here.
Yeah, sure. As far as COPE is concerned, what we really would like to see are the ABCs. First, we want greater accountability in respect of the police. We want to see brutality really being brought down. 3, we require the constitutional deviation which has occurred, which has made the police service into a police force, to be reversed. Now, if we can address these matters, then we are going to begin to make great progress, because in 2010, 1,048 of South Africa's most senior police officers were convicted in our law courts. Now, this is a huge factor. And if we take 2012, 21,785 charges were laid against the police. and many of these for brutality and serious crimes. Now, what COPE believes is that if you have a highly professional and depoliticized police force to begin with, a police service to begin with, then we will indeed be able to make a great deal of progress. The fact that crimes are coming down, that's a small mercy, but the people who are still victims of crime are not happy at all with the situation. And we really need to allow policing to become a lot more effective and a lot more constitutional so that law and order is preserved and we have the police service operating in an environment in which constitutionality prevails.
Thank you. Dianne Kohler-Barnard, your 90 seconds.
Thank you. We have fought so hard for our democracy, but we won't be free until we can walk the streets. We don't fear for our children being snatched by a sexual predator. We don't fear waking up with a firearm in our face in our own homes or have all our money disappear through cybercrime. So we're looking not only at crime on massive levels. As I say, the murders rate is up, and certain areas, well, the crime statistics are questionable to say the least. What we have within the SAPS, the South African Police Service, is corruption. We see massive police brutality on almost a daily basis. We see criminality that is commonplace, and that has to be dealt with by someone who's not a political appointee. We also see that the victims of crime in this country are simply offered nothing. They are treated very badly by the very members who are supposed to be assisting them. So what the Democratic Alliance is proposing, and we have fully workshopped this in relation to international best practice and of course finances we've looked into and we know how to pay for it, is that we need 250 operational members on the streets. We need our training boosted massively. It is totally appalling how badly trained so many of our members are, with only 20% of our detectives basically untrained. We need to have our stations and our members properly equipped. Today in East London, for example, the dog unit and the flying squad have no vehicles at all. These are emergencies crucial around the country.
Okay, your 90 seconds is also up, I'm afraid. We're going to get back to all of these. I want to interrogate all of these questions, but we have to take a quick break beforehand.
News that moves. ENCA.com.